the thing that changed my life the most, and I know for a fact that this is what put me where I am today, was when I was 16 during the summer before junior year. I was visiting family in New York, and I was staying in my cousin Jeff's room, and uh, he was out of town, and I was staying in his room, and my uncle walks in, and I'm like, "What is that?" And I pointed at a lacrosse stick, and he's like, "Well, that's a lacrosse stick." And I'm like, "Well, what is that?" And he said, "Well, that's a sport that Jeff plays." And my cousin was like 5 years older than me, and I thought he was really cool, and I wanted to be like him. So I'm like, well, whatever that is, I want to play it. And so my uncle told me a little bit about it, and took me out and bought me my first lacrosse stick.
Awesome.
And it was because of that I came back to the Bay Area and talked to some of our friends, primarily Brad Kreitzer and Rob Gillies, and we talked about the idea of what we could do with this sport. Everybody was kind of interested in the sport, and so what we had heard at the time was that Skyline High, which had a boys team at the time, it was a club team, so they accepted kids from other schools. So we thought, well, maybe we can kind of practice a little bit and then go try out for Skyline. And so we put an announcement in the daily announcements and said, "Hey, we're going to have a meeting. Anybody who's interested in the sport, probably said fastest sport on 2 feet, Native American sport, et cetera, et cetera, right?" And so we had a meeting in my dad's classroom, and at lunch one day, and I forget, were you there that very
I
first
would.
day?
I was not there, but I did. I
Okay,
heard this story before, and all
yeah,
my friends were there. I think that's the reason why I joined the year afterwards.
because we had
But I could,
40 guys show up. 40.
yeah,
We're like, well, we
amazing.
clearly don't need to join some other program. We've got a team right here.
Speaking of the lacrosse, I know, not only did you sort of, that change your life in high school, you brought lacrosse to Berkeley High, you got this great team started. It really changed a lot of people's lives because, so many people, when we started lacrosse, it was such a cool sport. It was a club sport. It was new. We had this great sense of belonging, I think, a great team. We got pretty good. And then after that, the team actually got really good. Reese became an All-American, but then we had Ryan Taylor, who was starring, and Ryan took the team to the state championship. So it actually went on and became a varsity sport, and today it is a varsity sport at Berkeley High. And so you really started a legacy there, but it also changed your life, moreover, because you still play, John. Right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Tell us about that.
it's, the coolest thing. One of the coolest things in my career as a lacrosse player was when I was at San Diego State. Like you said, Ryan Taylor took the team to the state championship, and that championship just happened to be in San Diego at San Diego City College while I was at San Diego State. So I got to go out and see it happen. And I got to greet and congratulate Ryan. He actually gave me a game ball, which I still have somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, but he gave me a ball, and it was just to know that 5.5 years after we started that program, that it became what it was, and has had I mean, now it's been 40 years. It's been well, we started in '83, so it's been over 40 years now. We started in the fall of '83, and it's still going strong. And there's a good girls program there, and there's no question in my mind that someone else would have started it at some point. Um, but it was really cool that we did it when we did it, and it worked, and it continued. I mean, it continued long after I left, and was
Yeah.
super happy to have been on the ground floor, and I'm so glad you were there as well.